There are 34 GameStops in the Phoenix, Arizona Valley, and this video covers what we found while we attempted to visit all of them in one day.
And if you want to see that video, click down in the description. It's a wild one.
Yeah, it was really, really fun and very challenging. We found a lot of things at GameStop, but one of them was the problems. It's no surprise that GameStop is having some issues, and we want to talk about them.
We're going to jump into the limited shelf space and the dreaded print list.
Yes, so if any of you have shopped at a GameStop recently and you asked for like 3DS games, maybe DS games, 7th gen, those kind of things, some of them don't have the space to put them on the shelf, so they give you a printed list. So what do you think about the printed list?
I like to window shop and see what's available. You can't really tell like condition of an item based off of a black and white list. Mm-hmm. Not only is it unappealing, but you have to bug the associate to print out the list. It's not readily available for you to look at. And it's not a complete list of everything that's behind the counter. It's, well, what do you want to look at? Well, I want to look at DS, I want to look at 3DS, I want to look at Xbox 360, I want to look at PS3. You got any fun surprises in there?
Yes. So what's the solution to this? How can they fix this? I think they can find shelf space. Here's the thing. Everybody knows GameStop prioritizes modern games. Some of them have a retro space. I think it's just the prestige ones. A prestige GameStop is a GameStop that's received a certain amount more 5-star reviews than others. Mm-hmm. At least that's my understanding of it. If you're a GameStop employee, comment below. Let us know what prestige means or if that has anything to do with the retro selection. But I think they should find shelf space.
Yes.
We've seen a lot of GameStops be creative with this. We see them put Super Nintendo games behind glass. We see them use the little pop displays and put a lot of 3DS games in there.
Mm-hmm. We've seen in the alleyways, they put up probably an IKEA shelf that includes retro items.
There's a lot of options. In general, we're more likely to buy if it's on those shelves.
Right.
And I think a lot of other people are as well. So when we visited, boy, Lily's making some weird noises in there. We have an old cat. We have 2 old cats. One of them is very noisy.
They're both over 20.
Yes. There was a quite large disparity between the store policies in each GameStop. And there's a couple different policies, right? The big one is retro games.
Right.
What do they take in? What don't they? What do they sell? What don't they sell? We had store managers straight up tell us GameStop doesn't take those games in anymore.
Like those games we don't take in anymore.
Okay.
Well, to be fair, we don't know if those employees were managers, though.
Right, okay, so we had store employees tell us we don't sell those games anymore, we don't take those games in anymore. And in another store, they're like, what are you talking about? Of course we do.
Yeah.
And we see another store, they're like, we don't sell those games. How would you feel if you went into a GameStop and there was a sign on the wall that said, our retro game policy, we'll take in select titles from NES, Super Nintendo, Game Boy Advance, and they listed all the consoles they take it in, and they posted it in every single one of their GameStops. Because what I'm learning is, based on the comments on our last video, GameStop employees are all told the exact same thing no matter what store they're in regarding taking in games. Mm-hmm. The only difference is who can actually sell it in their store based on their volume or choice or whatever it is, or size. That's what changes.
Yeah, so there's definitely a communication issue across the board between employees from store to store.
Yeah, if I'm a person that wants to go trade in retro games to a GameStop to buy that brand new game that came out, I should be able to do it no matter which GameStop I'm at, even if they're not going to sell it there. The other inconsistency about this is the displays, the shoppability, it's different per store. Now, I think, I have a guess, we talked about this.
Yes.
We think that the individual store managers are kind of given carte blanche, like, make this look good to sell, like display it how it makes sense, because we sell a lot of different ones.
Yeah, I think they leave it open to the manager to use their own creativity to get it displayed.
Yeah.
And not just a straight company policy, because obviously there's different layouts on different GameStops. Mm-hmm. Because some are prestige, right, that we learned, and some of them are not prestige, and some of them are old EV games.
Yeah.
And so even their layouts are a little bit different too.
I understand it because there's so much different space in each, but at least for the retro stuff, like, give us some sort of consistency so we know what we're looking for. We had to find them in a lot of places. Like, do they have them? Don't they? We don't know.
Yeah.
The next major observation we found is a very clear and obvious one that everybody already knows. GameStops are understaffed. Mm-hmm. Now, I worked in retail for a very long time.
So did I.
Yeah. So, and I was in retail management for a long time too, and managing payroll in retail is challenging. You're given a very small percent, and most of the time it's just the manager, except for the busy days. Mm-hmm. But we experienced not the manager, only working alone on a Saturday in multiple locations. Because Saturday is historically the busiest day of the week for retail.
Sometimes the staffing is so low that they'll be communicating with a different store on a video and like TV screen.
Yeah. So everybody knows that's worked retail or works retail that payroll is the most controllable expense. So if sales are down, we can cut payroll until sales go back up, and then we're going to put more people in staff. Mm-hmm. It's a backwards model and it's horrible.
Right.
And I think there is an easy solution to this problem. And some of the store managers or employees actually kind of called this out.
Right.
They said, close half the GameStops.
Yeah. They are cannibalizing each other. Each GameStop store is competing with each other on their sales. Mm-hmm. And they're having problems meeting their numbers because there's so much widespread of GameStops out here. 34 GameStops is what we have. And some of them are within
a mile and a half.
Maybe, yeah. Or even like just 5 miles. There's like two competing with each other.
Now, don't get us wrong. We don't want anybody to go unemployed.
Right.
But if they closed half the GameStops and just merged that staff and actually appropriately allocated the payroll so that twice the amount of people would be there, we would get a better shopping experience.
Yes.
They would get more sales. And they would have the ability to upsell the things that they want to. I mean, everybody offered us a warranty.
Right.
That is what happens. We don't buy warranties either because it's going to go in the backlog, or we don't have kids or pets that are going to break things.
We are not the demographic that would benefit from getting the warranty. Mm-hmm. Like the chances that we play said game that we bought that day that gets played
within the first year?
This calendar year.
That's actually pretty low.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
I mean, we're going to try play as many as possible, but we also have a lot of other games that we want to get to that don't have a warranty on them.
Exactly. So we get the demographic for the warranty. There is a demographic out there. It makes sense.
Yeah.
So the current theory is and I guarantee they're saying this in the back end because this is how retail works. They're being told if you increase sales, you can get more payroll. Mm-hmm. But they can't do it because there's a line out the door and they're trying to get through that customer as quick as possible to get to the next. They're still going to offer them the warranty.
Yeah.
But there's no true upsell experience. There's no true like, I love the new Like a Dragon game. Have you played that game yet? Let me show you this. No. That's a real retail experience that I'm okay with. And it happens to us all the time at local game stores.
Yeah.
I'm going there like, have you played this? I'm like, no, I haven't. And then we'll end up buying it sometimes. Yeah. That's an okay upsell. I encourage us to be encouraged to buy more video games that we might like.
It's not like we have a shopping addiction or something.
No, not at all. So, close after stores, GameStop. Let's focus on the market a little better, put double the staff in there, and just try it. Get qualified people that like video games and like selling them, and you're going to make people not want to walk out after waiting in line for 10 minutes.
Well, you could probably also have more inventory, sure, you don't need to have all that inventory on the shelf.
Right.
But if you have the availability to have more staff, that you have someone bringing out more inventory from the back while someone's working the front, and someone's covering in the phone in the back room, like, that's going to give more people the accessibility to buy those games.
Right. So speaking of the hired staff, we encountered a lot of times where they knew little to nothing about retro or the games in their store. Any retro games at all?
Any retro games? That'll be our only.
Sweet.
Yeah, that'll be the only thing. And if you're looking retro, I have an Atari system.
An Atari system?
Yep, that's about it.
I felt like they hired anyone with a heartbeat.
Or anyone with retail experience with no passion for games.
Yeah.
And it's a shame. I get it. Hiring can be challenging.
But hold on. We also met amazing, highly passionate people that love video games.
Yes.
And we love that. And we would love to see more of that.
Absolutely.
Anything cool you guys find? Because I'm always curious to see what other stores got, but it's not anything good.
Sometimes.
We saw a Sega
Sega Saturn game.
Sega CD game?
No, Sega Saturn. Yeah.
I was like, Sega CD, like, if you have an add-on for that, buy that.
So we all know that there's this whole thing that GameStop says about new. Right? New is I'm going to take the game out and put the empty case on the shelf. That's new. We don't agree with that, obviously. We know what the retro game market is, and new means sealed.
Yes.
But there are also employees that don't know what complete and box mean. So do you have this game complete? I don't know what that means.
So is your copy...
Is your copy...
I know what that means, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. This game here, Per Pal's Perfection. Mm-hmm.
Do you have that complete, or is it
What does
just
that
loose? In box.
In the case.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe that happened.
Or do you have the case? Yes, it has a case, and it's like a
Replacement case.
It's a replacement case. Like, those are important details for anybody that loves a nice collection.
Right. So what's the solution? I'm going to reveal something. I actually applied for a GameStop once, a GameStop manager, when I was younger. And I did get the job, but it wasn't enough money, so I passed. They did ask relevant questions regarding gaming and my gaming knowledge and my favorite game and how would I sell that. So there used to be, this was a long time ago, there used to be that process was in place. And I'm sure part of that is because now it's harder to find people. It's hard to hire right now. I'm experiencing it in my full-time job. It's hard to hire right now. But they need to continue the vetting process. And I hope that the people hiring people are also passionate about gaming, but I don't suspect that's the case. This video is sponsored by Tales of Vogar, Lost Descendants. Tales of Vogar is an emotional adventure in the kingdom of Vogar, a once beautiful land filled with magic but now devastated by war.
This RPG takes some direct inspirations from PS1 classics. I can definitely see some inspiration from Suikoden.
Mm-hmm.
It is a short JRPG.
I think it's like 8 to 10 hours.
Which is fantastic for us JRPG-loving busy adults.
Yes, very busy, little time to play. You can maybe make it through more than 4 a year if they're all this short. Has vibrant graphics, the music's good. I love that the whole thing was created by one person. It's kind of crazy. It took them 15 years and over like 1,000 hours of development.
Yeah, a one-person passion project.
Yeah, so it's available on Steam. We've been playing it on our Steam Deck, and it's super fun, fairly easy to pick up, and Setzer wants to be a part of this as well. So, oh, Setzer. It's great to see a passion project from a fellow RPG lover, and it's a good game. It was really fun.
I enjoyed the quirky dialogue and cute story.
Yeah, so coming from a JRPGLife couple, we can recommend it. And make sure you go pick it up on Steam when you get a chance. It's a great game. Thank you so much, Tales of Vogar, for sponsoring this video. Let's talk about their pre-order policy.
I get a little upset every time I think about this.
So what's wrong with their pre-order policy?
So you can put down $5 down to reserve your game, which is great. Or you can even just pay for it full price, which we've had experience in doing that.
Yeah.
The problem is that whether you put $5 down or pay full price for the game, it's not going to guarantee you that you're getting your game.
Yeah, they will hold it. I believe their policy is 1 week.
Yes.
And if you don't pick it up within the week, they're going to sell it to somebody else. We had this happen when we went away for the holiday. And
we even told the manager that we were going to be in Florida for a week.
Yeah.
At a wedding.
That's right.
And that we wanted to make sure that they could hold on to the game that we paid full price for.
Because we wanted to play it when we got back. It was a collection of mana.
It was the remake of Secret of Mana.
That's right. We got back on the 8th day. I'm like, okay, we're back as we said we would. They said, no, we don't have it anymore. We sold it.
Yes.
And I was so mad.
The manager sold it because we didn't come in and pick it up.
Even though we told them we'd be there.
Yeah.
And we prepaid for the whole game.
And they did try to call, but he was literally at the altar being the best man at the wedding. So we couldn't pick up the phone and tell them, yes, we're still going to get it in a couple of days when we get back from Florida.
So Secret of Mana was not only a pre-order, like a low pre-order, it was also a low stock item. So when this did come up, we ended up solving it by calling a ton of GameStops all over town and finding who had one for us to go drive, spend a lot of gas on. I believe it was across town in like Buckeye or Avondale or something, and we picked one up there. But we were livid.
Yeah,
the district manager called me directly and apologized and told me about the policy and why they do it, and I get it, but it needs to change.
It's still we laid off of GameStop for a long time after that.
Yeah, it took us a while to warm up to even walking in the store again.
Yeah.
So any GameStop employees watching this, we've heard the story. One of the store managers told us that sometimes people will reserve games. It's actually more often than we thought, like maybe 30% of the time. They'll reserve a game and never come pick it up, ever. So they implemented that policy in order to at least get the games moving, and if somebody comes in, they'll order it for them.
Sure.
I think 7 days isn't enough.
No. And I think if there should be a different policy for whether you put a $5 reserve
Agreed.
and pay full price for the game.
There's a difference in how much you want the game if you're paying for it all in advance.
Like someone's going to want their now $70 plus tax for a game that they pre-ordered.
And it's more of an incentive for GameStop if they say, hey, would you like to pre-order this game coming out? You can put $5 to reserve it. It'll be on hold for a week when it comes here. Or you can pay for the full thing in advance. We'll hold it for up to 30 days.
Yes.
That's like more incentive for them to spend more money right now. And it gives you a better idea as the employee that
well, here's the other thing.
they're going to come get it.
Let me be the devil's advocate. Like, so those $5 pre-orders and no one picks up, do those get automatically refunded? Do the full price reserves automatically get refunded
They don't.
if they never? Exactly. So there's a lot of profit to be made there.
Yeah.
It's kind of like buying gift cards, right? They count on people to buy gift cards.
Mm-hmm.
Any company that offers gift cards, it's automatically they get the money, but it's not guaranteed that people will use those gift cards.
Agreed. Something kind of positive to say about GameStop that I think we don't say enough is that they had some really cool new displays going.
Oh yeah.
They had the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth kind of in multiple images on the wall, and then they had the Persona 3 Reload like next to it.
Yeah, so it had different characters from each game in a nice
display marquee. And it was different for the smaller stores. They only had like one solid image broken into 4 type of thing.
Yeah, they had basically a very large poster layout, probably about 4 of their normal size posters as the background, kind of like as a marquee behind the counter. It was really nice.
Now, I like this because from a consumer perspective, it makes it feel more like a game store. Mm-hmm. I know their corporate feeling is that they want to maximize the amount of retail space per square foot, and they could probably use that wall space to put games on it, or controllers, or special editions, or something, and sell it.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that they kind of said, well, let's make it display something nice, because these are the 2 biggest games coming out right now, 2 of the biggest games, and let's make it a big deal.
And by the way, P.O. Box and below.
Yeah, any GameStop managers, like, you're just going to throw those marquee displays away? We have a P.O. Box down below. We'd love to put those on our wall. You know.
It looked nice in our dining room.
Oh, yeah. That'd be awesome. Another issue that comes up at every GameStop is their inconsistent product selection for current gen stuff. We see a lot where, like the Secret of Mana situation, they had 1 in each store, and then the pre-orders. That's all they stocked. And they find that pretty common. We found, like, Loop Hero at 2 locations out of all of them that we visited.
Yeah.
That was it. We found a couple special editions only at one site. Never saw them at another one. It might be because every store got 1 and they just sold it. But I don't think GameStop's capitalizing on this well enough.
No.
So there's this thing called FOMO. And we're guilty of it all the time.
Now hold on. For some people might not know what FOMO is.
It's the fear of missing out.
Yeah.
So you get these like limited run games or strictly limited, where it's like 2,000 or you won't get it anymore. That's a big deal, and it's a big selling point. I think GameStop could really take advantage of that.
Yeah, I think there's some profitability to be made there.
So here's what they do. Right now, they'll order 1 game per store because they don't know if it's a hit, they don't think it might be, or it's just not something that they want to designate the shelf space to. Let's just say, well, and the other problem is that they'll open it and put the blank case on the shelf, but that's a separate problem. So
it's gutting it.
It's gutting it, yeah.
I as a gamer am old-fashioned, and just like Christmas when I was a kid, I like to open my own games.
Yes, yeah. But we could talk about that for days. So there's a couple ideas on how to fix this problem, and I think that the fix is also a big opportunity for GameStop. First of all, FOMO's a big deal.
Right.
If you stock a game more than like Target or Best Buy or somewhere else in town that could get it pretty regularly, and you say, hey, GameStop has a bigger stock of this product.
Yeah. We have 10 of these.
We have 10 of these per store. Like, people will go crazy. And,
oh, yeah.
And it's not even because it's a good game. It's because it's limited.
Right.
10 per store. Just try it. And then there's that spot under the shelf for used games a lot of times. Like, there's flat glass and then there's like pull-out shelves.
Yeah, I think we've seen that just about at every single...
Most of them, right? Except for the
GameStop.
really big sites. Well, they'll put like a couple 3DS games on there, or like 1 2DS or something like that.
There's usually like cell phone stuff or sometimes Pokemon cards in there.
Yeah, so why don't they use that for their short release games?
Yeah.
put like 2, like Loop Hero. We got Loop Hero Collector Edition. We saw that at 2 stores. Let's say
Right.
they get their Loop Hero, they put 2 copies of it in there and say, last 2.
Yeah, and that way you don't have to gut them either.
No.
Like, you can just have them in the glass case.
True sealed.
That's easily pulled out for the employees, and it's also visible for the customer to see.
I think there are some small steps to success here.
Yeah, there's definitely things that they do well, though, too.
There are definitely. We still had fun going to a bunch of GameStops all over town. And even those that we didn't hit, we've been to before. So we've been to every GameStop in town.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Don't get us wrong. We did talk about some things that were a little negative, but we do really like shopping at GameStop, and
Yeah.
we want them to succeed.
Yeah, this is meant as constructive criticism, not to bash, because we want them to succeed. They are a critical part of gaming and the modern game industry right now.
As long as they continue selling physical games, we will be customers there.
Yeah, unless they start doing like a GameStop exclusive expensive pricing system, then we probably won't. Comment below, what do you recommend GameStop does? How do you feel about the ones in your area? Do you disagree with any of our points? We'd love to hear your feedback. And
Add some improvements in the comments, and if you don't agree with us, you can comment about that too.
yeah, or if you're a GameStop employee, we'd love to hear your thoughts from the inside.
Yeah.
It'd be great. So thank you all for watching, and remember, the couple that plays together stays together. Take care, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Bye.